The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 117. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today we have a special lady all the way from Bucharest. She is an online entrepreneur. She's a phenomenal woman. I've met her a couple of times at certain events, and I'm just really honored to have her here and share her story. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Erica Udeanu. Erica, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hey, Udeanu, thank you so much for having me on your show. And I think it's just so amazing that shows like this exist to really empower women to reach their full potential. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm really, really honored to be here. So long story short, I've always been a little bit of an entrepreneur. When I was 5, I was, the kid at the end of the driveway with lemons selling lemonade, to people passing by. And I always had this fascination with being financially independent. And so basically my entire life, I've always looked for ways to never have a traditional, job, and have always been looking for avenues to express my entrepreneurial kind of bent, so to speak. So, long story short, how you and I came to meet. I was working on cruise ships towards the end of 2008. We had the financial crash. And things were looking really, really kind of dire. And so after about 3 years of trying to make our existing careers work, that just wasn't happening, we ended up online. And so there became my new adventure into matching my entrepreneurial passions with what is fast becoming the fastest way for anyone with deep passions to express themselves and make a really, really, really comfortable living, shall we say.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, I love all the pictures you share, traveling from different places just because you were able to create that lifestyle. So, I just love that you can show what's possible for other people. And Erica, what's your cultural background?
I was born in New Zealand, so we don't really have a cultural background. I really do ponder that. I'm like, well, culturally, I'm very Scottish. I'm half Scottish and half Irish. So if I was to have a cultural background, I would definitely say Scottish. I'm very partial to, the bagpipes and the history, especially Scotch. I'll just mention that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I heard something in my early 20s, and I don't know exactly where I got it from, but it's kind of morphed over the years, and it goes like this. Possible in the world, possible for me, is just a question of how. And I've never forgot that. And what that basically means is if you see someone out there who has a certain result and you want that result, all you need to do is work out how they got that result and then model their exact behavior to get that result. So possible in the world, possible for me, is just a question of how.
I love it, and I love that quote as well, because sometimes you just need one person to prove that it works, and you can just go out there and do it, right? It doesn't have to be Absolutely. The same exact method that they use, but you can model after it and be able to just accomplish it as well. So that's a great quote you shared. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I think, for me personally, it is simply about believing that you're capable of anything, believing that you have the inner wisdom to achieve anything you really want, to be able to ignore, some of the monkey chatter that we all get. Let's be real here. We all have monkey chatter, but being stronger than the monkey chatter and telling it to kind of take a hike and just absolutely believing that your inner wisdom will guide you to doing whatever it is that you need to do.
I love that definition. I love when you said, just, shoo that monkey chatter away, because, I'm guilty of it too. We all have it. It's not something that we can just make it go away, but it's something that we can be aware of and totally switch it into something positive, right? So I really love that phrase you said, monkey chatter.
Because we all have monkey chatter. It can be a really bad neighborhood up there, but here's the thing. We control that. It's a choice. We have the choice to control the monkey chatter and change the channel.
I totally agree with that because, a lot of people don't realize that they have a choice to turn that. They just think, oh, this is it. There's nothing else out there. And it just really takes a simple decision to just say, you know what, I'm going to turn it around and make my life better. So, appreciate that. And what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
You know what? I was a big mess. I was a big mess. It's really interesting. I had an epiphany in my early 20s. I had absolutely no idea that we had choice. And I remember the first moment I ever discovered it, it just blew my mind. I thought life happened to me. I thought I was a victim of everything that happened around me. I had no idea that I could choose for things to be different. And it was like a light bulb went off and I'm like, you mean I can choose my destiny? I can choose my path? I can choose wherever I want to go? I literally thought that I was this lost little kind of like leaf floating in an ocean, just being thrown around by the waves. You know what I mean? And so after that realization that I have choice, everything changed. I was the master of my destiny.
I love that. And it's so true, right? I mean, I've been a victim of it too. Like I've been, I used to blame like outside circumstances, like, my life sucked. I blame the government. I blame my boss. I blame, we play the blame game, right? Not knowing that it just, we have that choice to just go out there and do what we want, whether it's to travel the world, work online full time, spend more time with your kids, whatever that may be. We all have it inside of us to go out there and just take the action and just live the life that you want. So, what's your life like now after that discovery?
It's very on purpose. I've made some decisions that have displeased the people that I always used to please. Like I used to be a big people pleaser, but I'm living my life on my terms. I don't, how can I say this? I don't kowtow down to the expectations of those around me who believed they had my best interests at heart. You know what I'm talking about? Like I chose my own path. And it's a beautiful path of freedom. It's a beautiful path of free will. It is a beautiful path of every day's an adventure. You never quite know what's going to happen. And I love that. The life I had before was pretty much a life of mundane certainty. I knew exactly what was going to happen every day. I knew exactly what was going to happen at the end of every week, every month. I pretty much had my life planned out for the next 30 years. And I didn't realize I had a choice around that. But now, every single day that you wake up, it's an amazing adventure because you never quite know what's going to happen. And I love that. Not a lot of people can handle that though. A lot of people, they love certainty. They love knowing their outcome, that's kind of like paved in front of them. For me, life is an exciting adventure.
I love it. And thanks for sharing that. I used to be that type of person who just loved everything, mundane. I had to know what to expect. And, when you switch that around, like anything is possible. You can get creative. You can, expect the unexpected, right? And it's like a lovely, pleasant surprise when you expect it. And, not every day is going to be peaches and roses. There's going to be days where, you want to throw your laptop against the wall, but I mean,
out the window.
Yeah, but it's worth it. I believe it's worth living that, living life on your own terms. So, thanks for sharing that. And Erica, if our listeners, they're listening to your episode, they're in their own journey of self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. Trust the signposts. Trust everything that comes along your path that is calling for your attention, because the universe has your back and she knows where you ultimately need to go. But you have to trust. You have to trust, you have to have faith, and you have to acknowledge those signposts, and they are everywhere. They are everywhere. They're the little flutter of butterflies in your stomach that you get. They're the goosebumps that, raise up on your arms when you read something or hear something or see something. Look out for the signs.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And, I believe in signs as well. Like they really do tell you a message, even if you don't understand it at times.
Yeah.
The message is there. Sometimes you might just have to dig a little deeper for it. So thanks for sharing that. Erica, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any social media profiles or any links we can connect with?
You know, the best place to find me is Facebook. Like, that's where I hang out like nearly 24/7. And literally just facebook.com/Alex and Erica.Udeanu, Udeanu. And that's where you'll find me. That's my home.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Erica, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Erica's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really want to thank Erica for taking the time to share her story with us, share her journey. So Erica, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Awesome. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another amazing episode of another woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Subscribe to the Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes and Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.